Here is part 2 on the top 10 wrestlers the IWC Turned on. Wait.
I won't do the whole voice for the video, I promise. I would want to just smack myself if I did that. But here we go. Part 2. Number 5 is Hulk Hogan. This is an interesting one because a lot of us, virtually all of us as wrestling fans, whether we're long-term or hardcore or semi-hardcore fans, whatever range you want to put on, as long as you've been watching wrestling for a long time, you were probably at one point a fan of Hulk Hogan's. But for the IWC, they turn on him because they want to learn all the stuff in behind the scenes. They like to read all the dirt sheets and the websites and everything, and they want to get all the dirt and know every little thing about everybody. And then when they heard about some of the things that supposedly Hulk Hogan has done, they just went from being his biggest fans to hating on him like that. And it was like, you went out of your way to find stuff out, and then when you found some stuff you didn't like about somebody, you turned on them, even though that stuff is stuff that I really don't give a rat's ass about for the most part, and you went out of your way to find it. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you? You did this to yourself, and now you're mad that he was human and he looked out for himself and his family? I mean, let's face it. If we were in a position like that, we would look after ourselves and our family too. So I can't really blame him, but I can definitely tell you that you're a dumbass for going out of your way to find it. So I don't know what to say. It was pretty damn pathetic, if you ask me. Number 4 on my list is The Miz. So The Miz is an interesting case because he was taken down several pegs by the WWE and by the IWC. It's kind of interesting because I remember people talking about, oh, The Miz, he's such a great villain, he's such a great villain, he's such a great villain. He should be WWE champion at some point. He should be WWE champion at some point. And The Miz was definitely busting his ass, getting better and better throughout 2008, 2009, and 2010. That was the year of The Miz as far as I'm concerned. And that really showed, man, The Miz is really cool. He's great mic skills. He's a good, competent wrestler. Definitely knows how to get the fans to hate on him and to get that sort of hatred turned so that the person he's facing will be cheered, so they want to see that person kick his ass. He really knew the psychology, and still does know the psychology of wrestling, and it's really cool to see. But then once he became WWE champion, they turned on him. It was like, you wanted to see this, and all of a sudden, like I remember reading articles about The Miz's title victory, and I was like, wow, a lot of these other news sources are talking about The Miz winning WWE Championship because The Miz is kind of a mainstream star. And what was funny is reading the comments, and I was like, oh, I could take Miz in a fight. Oh, I could take Miz. Oh, now what kind of WWE champion is that? I was like, really? You really think you could take on The Miz? Some of these people I probably, if they worked out a lot, but I would really bet that most of them couldn't take The Miz or almost anybody on this list. Maybe Hulk Hogan now, since he's, 70? But yeah, it's pretty damn pathetic. What the WWE did to The Miz sucked pretty hard too, but I'm only talking about the IWC here, and they decided that as soon as he won the title, he was now the person that they had to hate on. And then he bust his ass again and brought up Damien Sandow, because Damien Sandow was a ship adrift for quite some time. And The Miz, to his credit, he teamed up with Damien Sandow and made him the stunt double, and they worked so well together. But Damien Sandow was the only one getting credit as like, oh, he's such a great wrestler. The Miz is just there to be in the sidekick. No. He's the one that brought up Damien Sandow. You gotta give Miz credit for this, but they refuse to do that. It's mind-boggling how they could see such a great team, such great chemistry between two guys, and only attribute it to one person but not the other one. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Number 3 on my list is AJ Lee. This is an interesting one because I remember in NXT. I remember when she was brought up. I remember all the stuff that she did, and a lot of people was like, "Oh, we're saying, oh, AJ Lee, she's so great. She's a great wrestler. She's a great wrestler." And then she became Divas Champion, and during that, at the time, longest reign as champion, they turned on her, saying, "Oh, we want Paige instead. We want Paige now. Oh, AJ Lee, she flies a board and she doesn't know how to wrestle." Blah, 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 wee. I was like, we all liked AJ Lee, didn't we? I mean, what happened? And then, not to mention, the way that what they did to her was really, it just bugged the hell out of me. I'm trying not to cuss here. It really bugged the hell out of me because towards the end of her WWE career, she was not allowed to be AJ Lee. The fans turned on her again and did not allow her to be AJ Lee. I'm going to talk about this again later on, but I'm going to try and keep this video kind of short-ish. And it's, what the hell? You can't let her just be her. You have to put her as somebody else. And she's not allowed to be her own individual. She is always tied to someone else. I want to talk about this later, like I promised. But I was like, come on. And this caused her basically to quit because she was never allowed to be herself. And not to mention, this sort of thing led to, after WrestleMania 30, I believe, where these dumbasses, oh sorry, it was not 30, it was 31. Those dumbasses after 31, the night after, saying, "You suck Uso, you suck Punk, you suck Bryan." Yeah. A-holes. Number 2 on my list is Roman Reigns. Yeah. This is the newest person they completely turned on. This time they did it twice. It was pretty damn pathetic. I remember the Shield came up. I was a big fan of the Shield. I thought they worked great together. They had great chemistry. Their promos backstage, especially with the shaky camera during the first part when they were first coming up, I thought it was really cool, really different from what was happening before. And it was one of those things that you really like all 3 members. I liked all 3 members. And people would have their favorites, but towards the end, I would guess, of the Shield's trio, Shield being the trio, Roman Reigns being the one that fans were clamoring for. He was the one that people were starting to really gravitate towards, more so than the 2 internet darlings, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. He was the one that's like, oh, this guy's so cool. He's suave. He's good looking. He hits a mean ass spear. I mean, and then you saw how many cheers he got at Survivor Series in 2013, and then at the Royal Rumble in 2014. This is what I about Daniel Bryan. He was getting those before the end. Every time he was eliminating somebody, he was getting cheers and cheers. The only other time he didn't get cheers was when he threw out Dolph Ziggler. And then you saw the way that they reacted towards him at the Elimination Chamber, the 6-man tag. And on through Evolution. You saw the people were getting behind him. But as soon as somebody decided to tell his cult-like followers in the IWC that he didn't like Roman Reigns, they just turned on him like that, saying, he doesn't like Roman Reigns, so we must hate him now. We must boo him. Wee! And then it just became not internet darling. Wee! That's the only reason they ever hated him in the first place, because of somebody said they didn't like something that was going on with him at the time, and because not internet darling. Wee! If anybody tried to tell you that they don't like Roman Reigns for anything other than not internet darling, wah, they're lying to you and themselves. Don't listen to liars like that. Don't listen to them. And then he worked his ass off after WrestleMania 31, producing consistently good to great matches. Him and one other person were consistently good to great matches after WrestleMania 31, getting the crowd back again. And then after he wins the WWE Championship, I talked about it. People were on his side. But building up towards towards the Royal Rumble this year, they decided to turn on him again because, oh, he's going to be taking the World Heavyweight Championship coming from number 1. Well, he's not a thing. He's not in that darn. He shouldn't be able to do that. Well, he had convinced himself of an outcome that didn't even happen. And now they don't want to admit that they were wrong, so they have to force themselves to boo him because they can't admit, no, we were actually wrong. He's a good wrestler. He can put on good to great matches. But the binary thinking, we were told this by Internet Darling or by Dirt Sheet, it must be true. So we cannot think of anything but what we are told. Morons! But as much as Roman Reigns has to deal with their BS for the last year or so, it is nothing compared to the number 1 person on this list. And his name is John Cena. Yeah, I did an entire freaking haters club just on John Cena. So you knew he had to be on this list. I remember they liked him through his Dr. Thugonomics. I liked his Dr. Thugonomics. I liked when he stopped being a Dr. Thugonomics in 2005, 2004-2005. And I remember this is when they had an online poll of who was going to challenge Eddie Guerrero for the title before Kurt Angle decided to appoint JBL as the opponent. Most people voted for John Cena, and a lot of people at that time weren't really online on the wrestling sites or on WWE.com or anything like that. So basically them who were getting the vote in. But it's weird is that after he won the title a few months later, this is not 2008, 2009, where people were saying, yeah, Cena sucks, Cena sucks, Cena sucks after every match he's in. This was in 2005. Soon after he won the WWE Championship, from WrestleMania until SummerSlam that year. By SummerSlam, they had turned on him. What is that? 4 months? Maybe 5 at the most. So yeah, after they did that to him, they turned on him, and for another decade, he puts on really good matches at times with different opponents, with Randy Orton, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle. There's so many other people I could probably name, and I'm just forgetting. Chris Jericho, another one. Batista at SummerSlam in 2008. There's so many good matches. And look at his U.S. Open Challenge. Those are some really great just unbelievably great matches that he had throughout his reign as U.S. champion. I remember when he won the title, they were bitching and complaining that he had Barry Rusev. Wah! But look what happened. Great matches throughout his tenure as U.S. champion. Unbelievable, isn't it? And yet they will never admit that they were wrong about any of these people on this list. So for some of you who are IWC are watching and wondering, well, Mr. Loyalty, have you ever turned on a wrestler? Well, first of all, thanks for watching. And second of all, yeah, I'm not above turning on a wrestler. But I, unlike you, actually have a valid reason for it. And I'll tell you that reason in my next video. Later.